Hi, good evening, everybody. That's being here at 9:30 is real dedication, and I wasn't sure that I'm gonna have 10 people, so I've multiplied my expectations. So thank you for being here. Before I start, I would like to have a volunteer. Can I have a volunteer to come up?
For what?
What? Just a volunteer. Can I have someone? Volunteer? Volunteer? Yes, please come up. Hello, hi, what's your name?
Chris.
Chris, very nice to meet you. What do you do? What subject do you do?
What?
What subject do you do?
Master of Engineering.
Master of Engineering. Thank you for coming up here. I just wanted to give you this. Because you took the initiative to come up.
Wow.
This is for you. Okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
Please give a round of applause. Please take a seat. What I wanted to demonstrate there in doing startups, take the initiative, okay? The cost of being a volunteer was very low, wasn't it? You just had to come up, right? You're in a safe environment with people that you know. It's 1 to 80. It wasn't likely I'm going to stab you. But if you had taken initiative, you would have known. You would have gained, right? So you know that there's someone called Chris who's doing Master of Engineering, and he has value to offer to you. Now, second thing I want you to do is, Chris, I would like you to share your popcorn with the people around you. The reason why is in second lesson in doing startups with any good things, so that is in kind of equities, shares, or money, always share with people. Because I want to tell you something, and this is university, it's been some time since I was in university, but I'm allowed to say like a little bit of loose words, right? So it's kind of like crack, okay? Do you know why? If you keep it all to yourself, it stinks, okay? But if you spread it around, things grow, okay? So if you have any good things, make sure you share it around, okay? Second value in business. First, take initiatives. Secondly, share the good things that you have. Now, what is pitching? Okay, this is me pitching at the closing ceremony of the Google I program. I was one of the winners selected to go to Silicon Valley because of one of the products that we were doing, okay? And I want to tell you, pitching is ultimately a value proposition. Pitching is a value proposition. When I'm pitching here and when I'm speaking to you, the reason why you're still sitting here is because I have more value to offer you than if you go away from this room, okay? Whenever you talk to people, there's a value proposition. Which canteen should we go? Should we go to the canteen nearby, or should we go to the 7th floor at the Academic 3 building, which I love personally, okay? So it's a value proposition. Secondly, what startup pitching is not, okay? Many people watch too many Hollywood films, okay? They go into the room, and then they make this amazing pitch. And then they say some kind of inspirational story, wiping the poo on the ground. Sorry, no offense, okay? And then they shake hands, and then they raise $50 million, right? I'm sorry, but life doesn't work this way. The whole point about startup pitching, there's only one goal. And that is, it's a 5-minute opportunity for you to present your ideas to the investors to gain money? No, but to win a second meeting, okay? That is your goal. It's for you to do an impression enough so that you get a second meeting. That is what startup pitching is about. I want to tell you 3 very important elements to every pitch. And it's going to seem obvious to you, but I tell you, 10 out of 10 pitches I see don't have these 3 elements in it. Number 1, what is the problem, okay? You need to be able to spell out the problem very distinctively, okay? There is no use saying that, oh, it's, well, I'm going to start a business kind of making deliveries to professors around the university, right? Well, is that a problem? No, because City University is a very enclosed university and they can get food very easily. So that problem is not a huge problem. In other words, 3 very important words. Is there a distinct pain point? Is there something that is very painful for them, such that they cannot ignore what you are doing? I'll give you an example. We are in the business in helping people who are colorblind to help them see better by rectifying the colors on the screen. So most of the people in this world are red-green colorblind, okay? And we want to be able to help them to distinct those colors. Now, there are millions of people around the world who are colorblind, around 200 million. That's the stat that we have. But then, that was a very sexy stat, okay? 200 million, if you multiply that by, say, hey, 10 Hong Kong dollars, I would already be a billionaire. 20 billion, is that 20 billion? Okay, don't quote me on that, okay? 20 billion, but then is everybody bothered about colorblind? I can tell you, not everybody's bothered about colorblind. Some people, they don't mind it, they can live with it. But then do you know who the people are most bothered about colorblind?
Drivers.
No. Hello, they're in the gray shirt. Do you know who is most bothered about colorblind? The reason why I'm picking you, because you're looking at a computer screen. And it's those people who play computer games. Because if they are playing CSGO, Counter-Strike, and if they cannot tell the difference between what team they are on, they're pretty much screwed when they're playing tournaments, okay? And so these are people who have extreme pain points, which we want to try and target. Secondly, what is the solution? Pretty obvious, eh? That you need this but then there are 3 elements that you need. 3 again. How and why it works. Sorry, that counts as 2. And specific value to the customer. This is one of my idols, Elizabeth Holmes. Does anybody know who she is? Raise your hand if you know who she is, right? She is known as the blood queen because she found a method of testing blood with only several droplets of your blood so you know, like when you do a blood test now, you need to go to the hospital, make an appointment, takes a week, draw 3 vats of blood, takes another week to measure it, to send it to the lab, come back, another week to see the doctor, that's like 3 weeks. But then with only a few drops of blood, she can already tell you instantaneously what kind of disease that you have. Okay, revolutionary. It's her startup at her last round of funding is worth around $9 billion US, okay? And but the problem that she had is she never clearly explained how it worked, okay? How, like of course, like it's trade secret, okay? I'm not gonna be able to tell you, but people don't even intuitively know how the technology works. And she's pretty screwed right now because the FDA wouldn't allow her to perform the drug test, okay? And so she is under great pressure to demonstrate, to build up the kind of the credentials as to why this technology works. Thirdly, what is the market? Even if you have a painful problem and you have the solution, if the market is not large enough, it's not going to sustain your business, okay? So who is the market, okay? You need to be very clear in who they are. They must be identifiable. So for example, in my case, it wasn't the colorblind people. It was colorblind gamers. Secondly, how big is it, okay? The size. This is one of the critical mistakes, which I hope you don't make next week when you do your pitches. When we're talking about the size of the market, we're not talking about the number of people, okay? We're talking about the amount of money, okay? So it's basically your market, the number of people multiplied by the amount that they are willing to pay. And guess what? If those guys are not willing to pay a single dime, you don't have a single customer, I'm afraid to tell you. Even though if millions of people love your product. Don't get fooled when people say that I really love your product. Most of the time they're paying lip service. In business, as if the money is not in the bank, it's not real money. I want you to remember that. Okay, so we've covered the 3 critical features. The following features is going to kind of like surround the themes. How do you make money? In the next week when you do your pitches, I am sure that someone will ask you, how do you make money, okay? That's a classical question because it's a no-brainer question, right? If your startup doesn't make money, it's not going to, you're not going to be here. And they want to know how exactly you're going to make money. And what they mean is that, what is a distribution channel, okay? Who is going to sell the product for you? So for example, if we're talking about computer games, we know that it's a freemium model. So this is Pocket Frogs. I just looked this up today. Apparently it's one of the most popular freemium games in the world today. And what you do is basically you breed different colors of frogs. And then if the more that you breed, then the more points you get. Pretty sexy, eh? And if you're willing to pay money for these frogs to breed, then you earn more points. So that's what you call a freemium. So it starts off with free, and then you have to charge for extra kind of functions. Secondly, social media advertisers. If you're doing social media, it's advertising, okay? That's how you make money, okay? So one of the things which Facebook was very good at, okay, which I really have to tip my hat to Mark Zuckerberg was, he didn't simply, okay, here's Facebook, and I'm gonna load all the pages with different types of adverts and kind of like crowd out all your stories. What it did was, which was pretty smart, was that he made the adverts look pretty natural, okay? So as you scroll past, you thought you would be thinking that those are like kind of stories that are posted by your friends. So that's how he kind of makes the things more marketable. Now, competition. Competition. Hi, what's your name? Sorry, Cito? Cito, you look like a pretty rich guy. So guess what? I'm going to make you an offer, okay? I have this app. It's really good. Don't tell anybody. And basically, what you can do with the app is that, like you've got a mobile phone, right? So I have a mobile phone. So you download the app, and then like when I download it, you can talk to each other, right? Send messages to each other. And I can also send money to you, and you can also send money to me. And you know what the best thing is? The name of the app. It's called Us App. Us Chat, right? Are you going to buy it? Are you going to invest in my company?
Look like something out already.
Yeah, what does it look like? It looks like WeChat, right? So guys, yes, so you're probably not going to be investing, and I'm not going to cut a deal today. The point that I want to make is that often when we do our businesses, as all the budding entrepreneurs in this room would be doing, you often feel that you have the best product in the world that nobody ever does, and it's just special. Like, even though the functions are the same, it's just special, okay? But then a lot of the times, I tell you, every single business idea that I've thought in my mind has been pretty much done by someone else, okay? And what I want you to do is, when you're thinking about the competition, as much as you love your own startup, don't ignore the elephant in the room, okay? Because a lot of times there is an elephant in the room, and you need to acknowledge that. Because if you try to sweep them under the table, guess what? What the judges are going to be thinking about is this guy doesn't know his stuff. He didn't even do his research properly. The team. You know, this is one of the most misunderstood slides in startup pitching. Many people like to kind of put huge biographies about themselves, descriptions and so on and so forth. But frankly speaking, I'm very sorry for those guys who think this is the way to do it. I'm not really interested in who you are and what your name is, okay? I'm only interested in one thing with the team slide. I'm only interested in why you are the best team to solve that problem that you're proposing. Why you're the best team to solve that problem that you're proposing. That's only I'm interested in. So in your slide, if there's anything that doesn't serve that purpose, take it out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you my team slide. It's pretty badly done, but you get the gist. So this is my team slide, which I copied. It's pretty old. So here, do you see that I've highlighted the different functions? We've got the, I'm sorry, I used to be more good looking back then. Okay, I've gained weight ever since. Okay, so you can see I have my title. I used to work in private equity. I graduated from Oxford. Okay, these are credentials which really serve. So use every single bit. Okay, I'm not embarrassed that I went to a good school. Some people are, right? They kind of like, oh, where did you go? Oh, I went to Harvard, right? But in a startup pitching, every single point counts. Okay, and I got an award recently from British Council. That serves my credentials on why my reputation in the startup world. Then you look at my partner, Shamu Shen, who heads up technology. Who knows So here in the second, actually graduated recently from in PhD from CHK, and who knows what BVTM means? Who knows what BVTM? Nobody, right? Actually, it doesn't matter. It just sounds fancy. It doesn't really. Okay. All you're doing is to make an impression. I'm not making this word up. Okay. It stands for binocular video tone mapping. Okay. It's a kind of technique that we use for recalibrating colors. But hey, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is that he is an inventor. He's the best guy in the world. He can do this. Okay. And then you need someone, Isaac, who went to school with Samuel, an expert in building applications. We talked a little bit about our track record. We were one of the winners of the Google I program. Who knows what I is? It doesn't matter, actually. All you need to know is Google, okay? That we are associated with Google, okay? And we were the first cohort in the Blueprint and iFocus Accelerator. So these are kind of have put out every single bit. So you don't want to, okay, so I kind of went over a little bit on the top, okay? So during a real pitch, you don't want to sound that condescending, okay? But the point is, you want to put every single point there which will get you that extra bit of edge, improving why you are the best team to solve that problem. So if you have got some media interest, you can also put that in. That goes a long way in establishing your authority. Milestones. Many people think that milestones is only about what your plan is, okay? Or kind of plan for the future, letting people know kind of what your plan is, what you're planning to do. Actually, it's not. In startup pitching, milestone serves as a very important indicator about funding from the investor's point of view. Because, you know, like when investors invest, there are different types of investors, different types of VC investors, and they will be thinking about what kind of stage should I be investing in. So obviously, the more early you are, then the higher the risk is, but the higher the reward is. Okay? So if you're able to show those kind of milestones, then they can kind of have an idea about when do I want to fund these guys, if I want to fund them at all. So just to give you an example, this is a fake example, okay, of my company. So a couple of years ago, you always want to show a little bit of what you did before. So these were our credentials, and these are our future milestones. Again, these are kind of like fake, okay? So for example, in June 2015, we will be thinking about finishing the colorblind algorithms. In March 2016, we want to be preparing 100,000 downloads. And in April 2017, I want to generate USD 10 million of revenue. Sorry for the typo there. So in the investor's in mind, he's thinking about, okay, how fast are these guys going, okay? Are they going too slow for my speed, or are they going fast enough? Secondly, where do I want to fund them at? Do I want to fund them at when they finish the algorithms, which obviously is more risky because they haven't proven anything? Or do I want to prove them when they have a proven business model, when they've generated USD $10 million in revenue? But obviously, the valuation is going to be much higher, and the stake is going to be much lower. Risk and reward. Okay, and actually, I'm going to talk about this. There's actually one more slide that you want to put in the pitch. And ironically, it's one slide that everybody forgets to put in, including myself tonight, okay? It's the ask, okay? Don't waste any opportunities, okay? So when we went to Silicon Valley, some of the teams in my cohort, they weren't looking for funding. And they just kind of like, introduced the company and, just walked off the stage. In every single pitch, you want to ask for something. A lot of the times, that is going to be money, okay? But then at other times, it may not be, okay? It might be, you may be looking for advice, you may be looking for connections, you may be looking for introductions. You want to put that in, okay? You want to put that in so that people take a note of, and they will refer as appropriate. You may be thinking about, hey, I'm just a startup, why would people help me? Even if I just say it, it will be just like a nominal comment. It will just be a nominal comment, which people will ignore. But trust me, you have more to offer than what you believe to be. This is what my partner described this phenomenon. Actually, we always think that the VC investors are the prey, and we are the predators. So startups are always chasing for funding, but I tell you that's wrong. They are the predators, we are the prey. They are always looking for good projects to invest in, okay? If your project is good, no matter how bad your company is, how bad the economy is, you will get funding. They will be always on the lookout for good projects. So be proactive, ask, okay? So just kind of startup funding. There are many programs out there. I believe these are the ones which are most relevant. I won't go into detail with every single one of them, but I like the first one because basically the Cyberport CCMF fund, that's $100,000 of equity-free money. Okay, so basically if you get it, they give you 100K. Okay, and you can do whatever you want to do with it, and it helps to kind of build a prototype. So that's very good. The other comes with kind of all sorts of conditions, which are also more constraining but also good. Okay, so that's kind of like the end of my presentation. Any questions? Feel free to ask.
Any questions? I can use this one. Any questions to Jeremy? Jeremy contacted me 1 year ago. He asked me, I have many contacts every year, want to share. But Jeremy contacted me several times. He asked us very details, who are the students, and what they're going to do, and so on and so forth. Okay. Any question to Jeremy?